Hi guys, this is Bharat from Tech1. In this tutorial, we are going to know all the basic knowledge of drawing and editing of grids. To begin with, let's know the properties of grids. Let's have some basic knowledge of what it contains, and later we can go in detail of how it works. In coordinates, it contains the axis in which the grid will be drawn. Label contains all the name of specific grid lines. Line extension is how much it's going to be extended on both the left and right axis. Origin is how much distance the grid must be placed from the origin point. Magnetic properties is a special properties applied to the grid lines. As the name specifies, it attracts all the members drawn in it. Grid and label color is going to change the color of the grid and change the font size of the grid. Now let's look into detail of how the function works. Now let me explain how the coordinate function works. Let me change the values and see how it's affected in the model. When I type 300 in the value, it is going to create a grid line 300 from origin in x direction. If I add 0, it's going to include the origin point also, that is the start from the origin. If I add 4 star, it's going to add 4 times the value. You could manually add the values by adding spaces as a separator. The same properties goes for y coordinates. Z-axis are something different. Here, the values 5000 and 10,000 are taken from the origin point, that is 0 to 5000 and 0 to 10,000, so that the values are 5000 each. Now, let me explain about the extension. The value 2000 is from the grid E to the end of the line, that is 2000 mm extended. Now, let me change the value to 1000 and see how the model is affected. Now, let me change to the right side. See, the extension has been reduced. Moving on to the origin. Here, the grids are moved from the origin. Let me change the values to 500. See the difference? It has moved from the origin point to 500 at x direction. Let me change to back to 0 and see it has moved to origin again. Same goes for Z axis. You can either change in Z origin or at the 0 values, so that both the options are same. Let's move on to the magnetic grid lines. Just for magnetic grid lines, let me explain by drawing a beam. Select the grid and select magnetic properties yes and click modify. Now let me move the grid to 500 at Z axis. See, the beam along with the grid moves. Let me bring back to normal 0. For grid color, choose the color by dragging the point to the required color or by entering the values. For label color, same as the grid color. For font size, type in the font size, say 14 mm, and click modify to change. Hi guys, let us work with a real-time example of architect diagram. Here the values are in x and y coordinates. Let me show in the real-time model. Just select the grid and modify the x coordinates based on architect diagrams. 0, 600 and 4135 and 4140 and 600 are the values of x coordinates. Now click modify to apply the changes and look on to the y coordinates. Here I have changed the values based on architect diagrams.
Click Modify to apply the changes.
Now for Z-axis, let me explain with the architect diagrams. Here the values are 3515 and 3025. Let us change in the model. Let me select the grid and change the value as 0, 3025 and 3515 per architect diagram. Click Modify to apply the changes. Let me change the label as per the coordinates 3025 and 3515. Click Modify to apply the changes. Now Z-axis, let me take a view and explain the properties. Here 3515 and 3025 are the grid created for Z-axis. Now for radial grid, type in radial at quick launch box or in edit tab, click on grid, then radial grid and click at a point to create the grid. The properties are similar to the rectangular grid. That's it guys for today. Stay tuned for more videos.